It's your girl Ro in the building, and I'm here to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to share with you how to make these pumpkin patch apples. And this video is sponsored by Coated in Color, a new product food coloring that I'll be sharing with you all month and in this video, but right after this message. Hey guys, it's your girl Rochelle here, and I have some exciting news to share with you. This month, I have decided to collaborate with none other than Ashley, owner, CEO, boss chick of the Berry Patch of Chicago. So this month, I'm going to be sharing some of my amazing skills, techniques, and some of my desserts and designs using her new product line, her new chocolate food coloring, and her FDA-approved edible glitter. I'm going to be collaborating her new line with my skills, my treats this month. I'm going to be creating some amazing content, so I want you to buckle up your seats for this amazing ride that I'm going to be sharing with you this month. So make sure you tune in to the Berry Patch of Chicago and your girl Rose right here, Your Sweet Connect, and on my YouTube channel, Your Sweet Connection. See you all soon. Now let's get into the supplies. Here you're going to need some orange paper straws and apple sticks, a rolling pin, extruder, and a small thin brush. You're also going to need a grass silicone mold and a leaf silicone mold. I'm going to be using almond bark for the coating. For the food color, I'm going to use Coated in Color, orange. You're also going to need some veggie wash for your cleaning process. In a large bowl, or you can do this in your sink, add in some warm water, apply your apples in there, and begin to spray your apples into the water and just turn and flip them as you're cleaning them. Make sure you rinse them and then dry them off completely. And that is the cleaning process that I do for my chocolate apples or my candy coated apples. Now it's time to apply your apple sticks and paper straws. The size sticks that I'm using is a 6.5 by 5.0, which will allow your paper straws to fit over your stick. If you get a little splinter or a piece of wood to come off the stick, just peel it off and throw it away. But you can insert your sticks upright or from the bottom and then apply your paper straw over the stick. But you want to make sure you don't pierce your stick or straw through your apples. So moving right along, here I'm using this device. It's called an extruder. Here you can just screw the top off. It comes with several little pieces, and the piece I'm going to be using is the little circle piece. This is the smallest circle piece. But here you just swirl it back to let that piece on the inside you see here go down, and there you will insert your fondant. Okay, so you want to make sure you pull that back as far as you need it, and you're gonna just roll out a nice thick rope of fondant and just insert it in there and just cut off the extra that you don't need. Okay, and then you're gonna apply the piece inside the top here, as you see here, and then screw it on tight, not too tight because you want to take it off. And now begin to wind it back down, and this will create that rope, this thin rope that you see here. And this just assures to get an even rope instead of just rolling it with your hands, which I could have done, but using this device helps and give you a even rope that you're looking for, which is something that I needed because I'm very particular about my design, so this helps. So I'm taking the brush and wrapping around my rope here to get this like little vine piece, little curly vine piece. And I did a short piece, and also I'm doing a long piece. Now you don't want to prep these ahead of time because they will become too hard. And using creating these little coral pieces, you want to do this right after you get done doing your apples. And once you have those set, creating these pieces, you want them to fall right along. You want them to curve and fall right onto your apple. prepping them ahead of time, they're just going to get hard and they're going to be difficult to bend. And then if they bend, they're going to break, and you don't want that. So doing these right after your apples are dried, they will lay according to how you want them to lay to form to your apple. And you're going to see that right into the video. So these are the leaves that I'm using. I'm using a larger leaf and then a small leaf. And now I'm going to create the grass. The grass, as I stated before, you don't want to make these pieces like days or weeks ahead of time because they're going to become hard. You need these particular fondant pieces to lay against your apple. So doing them after your apples have dried is a better way to apply them. All right. So I'm adding fondant to this piece. I like to add enough right over the cavity, and I'm using my Ateco scraper to scrape off any extra that I have. And this is just a better way to assure that I have all my fondant into the cavity. And you just scrape, flip, and then scrape off the extra. Now, once you take off the extra fondant, you want to make sure you don't dig into the cavity of the mold. If you do scrape off a little bit or too much, just take some pieces of your fondant and then go back over those areas that you see that is not fully filled. And once you do that, you'll see that some of them areas, once you fill them, you just added a little bit amount. You don't need to add too much. Just fill them in, take your rolling pin, and just go over them to ensure that you get that smooth out. And then just take your scraper and scrape off anything extra, because you want to make sure that piece come out, define the grass of the design. And you will see I'm just taking the scraper to go through to make sure the cavity is filled and the design is going to come out completely, and no extra fondant over those cavity pieces. All right. And once you have done that, you can flip it over and pull it out just as you see here. And this is your grass. All right. So you want it to be movable and workable so that you can apply it to your apples. So these are your pieces. Now here I have prepped them just for this same day, but they're movable. So I'm gonna use them right away. All right. So let's get into melting our candy coating. So I'm using Almond Bark. I melted it according to the package, but it says a minute, and I usually do 30-second intervals. So make sure you do 30-second intervals until it's completely melted. And now I'm applying the coated in color, the color orange, and I applied a generous amount. And then I'm going to apply some more to achieve my deep orange that I'm looking for. My pumpkin orange is what I'm looking for. And you just want to mix until that color sets and come in, and then you're ready for dipping. Now it's time for dipping. So you want to take your apple, make sure it's completely dry, take your bowl, tilt it to the side, and just go right in and do a rotating turn to ensure that you get a full coverage. Make sure you have enough chocolate or candy coating in your bowl. I'm using my rolling pin to tap off the excess of the candy coating, and then I place it onto my silicone mat. Now you can use a silicone mat or parchment paper to place your apples on. Once your apples are done, or once you're done dipping your apples, make sure they sit out at room temperature so they can dry completely before decorating. Now let's get into the fun. Now here is what we're going to create, and they came out so beautifully. So let me show you how that's done. So you're going to need some orange fondant. You're going to make sure it's nice and smooth. You're going to need a sculpting tool and strip cutter. Now taking your fondant, you're going to roll out a large enough piece to cut out long strips. Now, I don't like thick strips. I like my strips to be thin. So taking your strip cutter, pressing it onto the fondant. If some pieces get stuck into the strip cutter, just take a toothpick and just pop it on out and begin to finish up creating your strips. Press and slide back and forth. And here you have created your strips. And just see how thin they are. Thin and thick enough to see. All right. So take your apple, flip it back. And now you want to apply your strips. I start in the center first. And to apply your strips, if the fondant is moist enough, it will stick to the apple. But if you need to add a little bit of water, just a little bit, to adhere, to make sure that your fondant will adhere to your apple. And all I'm doing is pinching off the bottom piece of the strip to the bottom of the apple. As you see here, just pinch that right on off. And you want to do these strips all the way around your apples. So each apple size is different. So I really don't count the amount of strips that I'm adding to the apple, because sometimes some apples need more, some apples need less. Just as long as it look like this. So I'm adding probably about 6 to 8 strips to these apples. These are medium-sized apples. But taking your sculpting tool, and I'm creating lines into the strips to define the apple to look like a pumpkin. You know, there are lines in some pumpkins, right? So creating these lines just defines the design just a little bit more. And you just want to take that and do that on every strip. Now it's time to add your greenery to your pumpkin. But first you want to add the stem, and you want to apply a little bit of water to your straw, and then add that stem to the straw, and take your sculpting tool and just define some lines into this stem here. And then after that's done, you want to take a toothpick with a little bit of chocolate and apply it right at the top, right in front of the stem, and start applying your leaves. Now I'm adding the large one first and then the small one. And then I'm going to go back and add a little bit of chocolate in between the leaves, and then apply my little vine greenery here right onto the chocolate. Just a dab, not too much, but just apply it on there until it sticks. Now I'm going to apply another leaf. I had to create another leaf. And this leaf, I want it to bend a little bit. So I'm just going to take that right out and then apply it next to the smaller leaf. And just bend it a little bit just to give it a little definition to the design. And that's it. Now, to add the grass, I'm taking the brush and just applying a little bit of water around the base of the apple. Once you have done that, apply your grass to the bottom, pressing it so lightly, and then I'm taking the brush and going in between those pieces that is sticking out, and then just press gently so that they can lay up against your apple. And that's how you apply the grass and your greenery. And here you have the pumpkin patch, right? They look so nice. They came out great. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to check out the links in the description box below. It's your girl, Ro, about to go, and I'll see you in the next video.